pretty big Star Wars fan, and I'm willing to bet most of you watching are. I think it's hard to grow up in this generation and not love the really goofy, stupid Star Wars movies. They're terrible, and we love them. So, I was very surprised about a year ago when, out of nowhere, Fantasy Flight Games just announced a new Star Wars TCG. Now, for those of you who don't know who FFG are, they have done a huge number of games in the past. In fact, if you are a board gamer and you go and look in your board game collection, I'm willing to bet one of them, at least, is made by FFG. They've done organised play before, they've done these competitive games before, they've done a lot of Star Wars stuff before, and that's something I will be talking about later. But for now, I want to talk to you about Star Wars Unlimited, because this is a game that I had no expectations for and inexplicably has me the most excited for any card game since One Piece. And that doesn't sound like it's been very long, but before One Piece, it was nothing. Nothing even came close. So this is giving me One Piece levels of hype, and that is amazing. Something I want to talk about are these cool little guys. So I tried this game out at the TCG Expo Liverpool, and at that event we were able to demo the game, and we were given these really cool event exclusive promos of the leader cards. Oh, how interesting. There's a lot to talk about. So there's a huge amount I want to talk about with this game, but firstly I think the best thing to do is give you a little bit of flavour for how the game is actually played. So this is on the Star Wars Unlimited website, and there is an article, there's a huge number of articles actually, I recommend reading a lot of them, that basically explain like a lot about the game, and of course the pre-release is next week as of the time of you're seeing this, and the official launch is in 2 weeks. So I've waited until now because you will probably be seeing a huge amount of stuff about this game at your local game store in the near future. You might be thinking that you want to give it a go, and I really think you should go to the pre-release because there's some really cool exclusive stuff you can get at it, and there's some really cool exclusive promos and all that sort of stuff. But first, I think I just want to explain like different levels of the game. So first, to start off with the actual game itself. So how does the game play? So you can get a 2-player starter set, and actually kind of have to because there's some exclusive cards in here, and they're worth picking up. And you also get these 2 exclusive leaders. So this is the only way to get these outside of the pre-release at the moment. Either that, or of course you go to one of the game demos and you'll be able to get the extended art versions of these, the hyperspace variants that are event exclusive. So you can see there is a border here on the Darth Vader, but if you look at, if I just go here to the camera, you can see on my version here, there is no border, and you can see that sort of hyperspace outline around the card. So that is one of the types of variant artwork, which we'll come to talk to a little bit more. Actually, I think you might be able to get these in the main set, but there are exclusive cards. I can't remember exactly what is 100% exclusive, but there are exclusives. So there are leaders and there are bases. Let's start with leaders. So the leaders have 2 sides to them. And I'll go here. So there's the normal side, and this is the side it's going to be on for most of the game. And the important things you need to know are it'll have 2 different colours here, basically, like from One Piece or from Magic or whatever you want to say it. And then there will be a particular action, which is what the card does. Now, when you hit a certain number of resources, which is just like Dawn or mana, whatever you want to say, you can perform the epic action there. Sorry, I appreciate this isn't super legible. And then you get to flip the card over, put it onto the battlefield, and use it. And that will depend on the leader, how early you can do that. Then on the front sides, you can see they have stats. So Darth Vader is 5 attack, 8 health. It's cost 7 because that's the cost, and nothing interesting there. And on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a unit. So they all have abilities, and you can see here Luke gives a shield token on attack. It's 4/7, but it comes out at 6. So there's a lot there already, but a lot of it will be quite familiar. So the other thing, as I was saying here, is bases. So bases tell you how much HP you have, which you can see here. This is the top left number, is the number of HP, and the top right is the color. So there are 6 colors in the game. I'm not going to call, they're called aspects. I'm not going to call them the fancy proprietary names because, let's be honest, that's annoying. There is red, black, blue, white, yellow, and green. Those are the colors. Now, interestingly, I think what's very cool is if you are white or black, you can't get those colors like through your base. You can only be white or black, i.e. like basically evil or good, through your leader itself. And then the 4 remaining colors you can get through a base. So what am I talking about getting these colors? Well, like One Piece, so in One Piece, you can only use the colors that are on your leader, right? If your leader is red, you can only use red cards. That's not quite the case in this game. In this game, which is similar to Battle Spirit Saga, you can use every card you want in the game, but your leader and your base have these colors on them, and you need to pay an extra cost if you do not have these colors between your leader and base when you play a card. So for example, if I play a 1-cost card that has yellow on it, and I have yellow on my base, that's all good. But if I don't have yellow on my base or my leader, I have to pay 2 more to pay that 1 cost, so it actually costs 3. So that's one of the ways they balance this game, and I think that's really, really cool. Adds a lot of depth to deck building, and it also means that these like really cool deck cards you can use all over the place. So that's the base and the leader. Then obviously there's a hand, you have resources. The way you start the game is you draw 6, and then you can mulligan, you can do a full mulligan, and then you choose 2 cards from your hand and you put them face down as resources. So you start the game at 2 mana essentially, and then you can and then you draw 2 a turn, and you can put up to 1 card face down as a mana. And there's none of this stuff like in Lorcana where some cards can go into mana and some cards can't. I think that's a cool and interesting mechanic. I think it adds depth to deck building, but they're not doing that here in this game. I think that's fine. And then this is really the part that sells you on the game. You take turns at the same time, exactly the same time. I'm going to show you gameplay at the end of this video, which I think will just bring it all together, but I'm just sort of explaining in broad strokes to you right now. So the way it works is like whoever has priority, they do something. Now that is play a card, attack with a unit, use an action ability, take the initiative, or pass. Then your opponent does something. Then you do something, then you do something until you're done. And in which case you can take the initiative, which means basically you go, okay, I'm going to go first on the next turn cycle. But if your opponent's already done that, then you pass. So that is the main selling point, I think, for me, for this game. That there is constantly counterplay, there's constantly thinking, there's constantly interaction, and that is amazing. This game is so interactive. You always have to be thinking about what your opponent might be. You're never bored, right? Like you're always, you know, the longest you're waiting to do something is like 10 seconds, right? So you're always engaged, and it's fantastic. And this is really what sold me on the game and experiencing this. So that's a big thing. And then the rest of it is sort of, you know, like standard, right? Okay, you attack, you deal damage. You know, things have abilities. There is summoning sickness in this game. Stuff comes in exhausted, but you can also give things like the ability to attack on the turn they enter play. Damage hangs around. It doesn't disappear at the end of a turn. And I think the initiative, taking the initiative as a mechanic is super cool, and the fact that that's the big thing. The only other thing to be aware of, if I go down, is there's 2 types of units. There's space units and there's ground units. So R2-D2 here is a ground unit, and then the Alliance X-Wing here is a space unit. Space units can only attack space units, and they have their own sort of side of the board, and ground units can only attack ground units, and they have their own side of the board. Now, they can interact with each other through effects, but largely they keep themselves, and that's the other thing to be aware of. And those are the fundamental mechanics of the game, and I think that should be enough for you to get a flavour of why, if you are a like competitive card game player, this should be really, really exciting, because that is really cool. So I'm going to show you some gameplay later on. There's a really cool tool where you can just sort of get a flavour for how the game works, and I'll boot it up, and I'll slap in some gameplay. So if you do want to just get a flavour for it, stick around. But okay, you're interested in the game. What are the products, right? So let's have a look here. There's a few things. So the first thing is there is pre-release, and that's the biggest reason I wanted to make this video today, and I wanted to push it up today, because pre-release is in a week, and stores have started listing them. They start, I believe, on the 1st of March, and they go through for about a week. You should go to pre-release, and I'll show you the promos you get, but if you want to try the game out, you should go, because it's going to be really fun, and there's going to be some exclusive promos that you're probably really going to want. So when you go to pre-release, you get 6 boosters, 2 promos. The promo cards are these leaders, but alternate art and foil. And then that's the main thing. Everything else is sort of, whatever. And then, of course, you play, and if you place well, you get extra packs. Great. We'll talk about the composition of packs shortly and the pull rates in this game, because I definitely think that there's a potential for this game to be a little expensive, but we'll talk about that in a moment. There's also the 2-player starter set, which I thoroughly recommend picking up just to try out the game. The best thing I can say about this is all the cards that are exclusive to this starter deck, you get a playset of, which is 3. A playset is 3 cards in this game. It's a 50-card deck, but it's only 3 cards for a limit that you're allowed to play. So I think that's it. I don't know. I mean, it's good because I'm so used to card games where like you want 4 copies of a card, and that does mean that like your expensive cards are fundamentally like you're going to need less of them. So maybe the game's going to be cheaper, but equally because you need less of them, and the pull rates are fairly low on some of them, then maybe they'll be more expensive. I don't know. Who knows? But that's just something to be aware of. And then, of course, there's packs, and we'll talk about those in a bit. Then, the other thing I want to talk about is local level play, and we'll talk about competitive regional level play in a moment, because that's the other thing. They've already laid out how it's going to work, and it's really, really exciting. So, casual play. When you... So, for the first 8 weeks of a set, is what it looks like it's going to be. You will basically have these weekly play kits. So your store can get them. It supports up to 8 players for 8 weeks of weekly play, and it comes with these 3 card boosters of weekly play, alternate arts. So that is what you get in here, and you get 3 alternate arts for every time you show up, which I think is really, really good. And I think there's bonus prizes potentially if you win a weekly play, but I'm not 100% sure. So you can include some special alternate art cards and hyperspace variants of cards that you can't normally get in hyperspace variants. So that is really, really cool if you're a collector, and obviously if you want to bling out your deck. But if you don't, it's a pretty good incentive because they're probably going to be worth a good chunk of change. Then there is the store showdown, and that is the sort of top competitive level at the local level. And this is going to be a 32-player tournament where you get an alternate art promo card for participating and a different one for placing well. Now we know what these are, and I'm going to show you them at the end of the video because I haven't opened them yet. But they are pretty damn cool. So that is what you're getting at the local level. Let's talk about booster packs because I think people will want to know pull rates. And there's a huge... So I think the disadvantage with this is if you wanted to buy sealed product to like get everything you need, it's going to be a lot. You're probably going to have to buy a solid chunk of sealed product. The advantage is opening booster packs is literally always going to be exciting. So when you go to locals and you pay your entry and you get some packs, you are literally always going to care about what you're getting out of them, which is nice. Because coming from One Piece, once you've got your base rarity stuff, it's really hard to give a shit. There's like 2 alt arts in a box, right? So one person at your local is going to get something decent. Cool, right? Who cares? Not really a good incentive to go to locals. Whereas structuring these boosters in this way is advantageous to making you care. It also means that if you want to have a max bling deck, it's going to be disgustingly expensive, but there we go. So, 16 cards in a pack, and you get 9 commons, who cares, 3 uncommons, who cares, 1 rare or legendary, 1 leader, 1 base, and the last card is a foil. And that can be foil anything. There's also a small chance that any single one of the cards in the pack, which I believe takes up an uncommon slot, will be a hyperspace variant. So what do the hyperspace variants look like? I think I tried to show you with these, but you can see it really obviously here. I don't think Akbar is a particularly good looking hyperspace variant, but what you need to basically bear in mind is the border will disappear. You will have like the artwork going out all over it. They reduce the text on the they remove reminder text, right? That's a cool thing. So you can see here on the left one it says what restore 1 does, but on the right one they've gotten rid of that to try and minimize the size of the text box, I guess, or just because they assume that if you're using this then you'll know what it does. Cool. Okay. So that's hyperspace variants, and some of these look really, really good. The other maximum rarity version is showcase variants, and these are only for leaders, and they look really, really good by and large. So, yeah, you're going to basically be able to get these like full art leaders that are super foil, super nice. So, let's have a look. So, per pack, you're going to get 1 foil. And that could be of any rarity, of anything, right? 1 in 8 packs, you're going to get a base rarity legendary. In every 3 packs, you're going to get 2 hyperspaces, so slightly less than 1 hyperspace per pack. In every 15 packs, also you'll get a hyperspace rare or legendary. And every 50 packs, you'll get a foil hyperspace rare or legendary, so that's every 2 boxes. And then in the showcase, you're going to be getting that 1 in every 12 boxes, which is 1 every 2 cases. So the showcases are going to be bloody rare, and they're probably quite expensive. So that is the sort of the way the packs are built together. And what you'll notice is if you sit down and you do the maths, that means in a case, you should get enough. You'll get more than enough commons to get play sets. You'll get about 2 full play sets of uncommons. You'll get about a play set of rares, of each rare, and you're going to get like 1 of each legendary. So that's what I meant by like, okay, a little dodgy, but that's not factoring hyperspaces, that's not factoring in foils, there's a huge amount of variation there, so who knows. So it's probably going to end up being like, not dissimilar from One Piece pull rates, to be honest, just like there's way more of them. And not dissimilar to One Piece prices, I should say. Okay, so that is all the stuff with booster packs. Let's talk about the, so this is some stuff about, oh, actually, sorry, I already showed you this, Let's talk about the competitive tier of events, and then we'll talk about, and then I'll show you some foils, and then I'll show you some gameplay. So, there are basically 2 structures here they've outlined. There's the casual play structure, and that's going to be basically on a consistent basis, where you have pre-release a week before a set comes out. Then for the first 8 weeks of a set, so from release, basically 2 months through, you're going to have weekly play, and then for the final month, you're going to have store showdown, 1, 2, I don't know how many, in that final month set, and then rinse and repeat when the next set comes out. So that's the casual play side. The competitive play side is you have all these different qualifiers that are eventually leading to a Galactic Championship. What the fuck is that? Alright, let's have a look. So, we'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see. So let's talk about tournament points. The fact that this article opens with that made me so happy when I read this, okay? Anytime you play in a qualifying competitive tier event, so only competitive tier event, you will earn some tournament points based on your final placement. These points will be tracked via your account on the website, so you will have an account on the website. You can already set those up. And a functionality that will become available before the start of the first organised play season. So that's probably going to start in like a month or 2 is the time you're seeing this. Once you earn enough tournament points across any number of competitive tier events in a season, you'll receive an invitation to compete in the Galactic Championship event for that season. The exact number of tournament points you'll need to earn will be revealed at a later date. So, if you've played Pokemon, this probably sounds quite familiar. I imagine a season is a year. I think it would be a bit crazy if they were doing these like for every single set. It seems like the set structure is the casual tier, and then the annual structure will probably be this competitive tier. But that is amazing, right? So you, as long as you get the points, you can go. And this is one of my biggest gripes with Japanese trading card games, which is the main thing I play, because they, outside of Pokemon, all have completely crap tournament structures, where you basically have to show up to one event and hope you, 1, have tested your ass off, 2, play really well, and 3, don't get bullshitted so you can actually qualify for these major tier events. It doesn't matter how consistently you've performed, it doesn't matter how many times you've got top 32, how many times you've got top 16, how many times you've got top 8. If you don't perform on that one occasion, tough shit. That is not the case here, and that is massively, massively incentivizing me to care, right? Okay, so Planetary qualifiers. This is the baseline level. These are store level events. They consist of a single day event with prizes awarded for participation and final placement. Players who place high enough will earn tournament points based on their final ranking, with the winner receiving exactly enough points to qualify for the Galactic Championship. So let's just pause and take a breather there. At the store level, you can basically, if you win, go straight to Worlds. They are not fucking around. They want these to be big events, and it gets more exciting the further down we go. But the fact that you basically, if you win this, you immediately have enough points is so good, because that is so accessible. And you want it to be exclusive, but you don't want it to be so exclusive that like it's, you know, you're never going to get there, right? You want it to feel like if you work for it, you can get that. Right, and this is going to be easier in some locations and harder in others. And there's probably not going to be that many of these. If I had to guess, in London, there's probably going to be 2. And London's a major city, maybe 3, right? So I don't think there's going to be that many of them. But I think it's important to have them because not everyone can travel that far. And if you've got a local scene, you should get rewarded for that. So this will be starting with the game's second set, and they'll be held at select retailers around the world. From that set on, each set will have its own batch of Planetary qualifiers, and the stores selected to host them will rotate with each set. Cool! This means that lots of stores are going to get opportunities to host them, boost their profile. That's really, really good. And you'll have lots of opportunities to attend the Planetary qualifiers. So, pretty much confirming that this is going to be an annual thing, starting with set 2. Which is good, because it means that we've got a while to get like decent at the game. But it also probably means it's going to start very soon after set 2 comes out. Then we've got the next tier above, sector qualifiers. These are standalone events not tied to any other event or convention that can occur all over the world, and there will be fewer of these and they operate on a larger scale. These will be 2-day events, hosted alongside side events, perfect for nurturing the connect part of OP, or whatever. To go along with these side events, each sector qualifier will also have a prize wall full of unique and exciting prizes. So firstly, that's really cool. If they're going to be doing like exclusive alternate arts or like really cool accessories and tokens, stuff that you can play out your deck with, that is super cool. So immediately I care. And this is something I will say, okay, about FFG. And I'll talk about this in a little bit. They don't have the best track record with like keeping going with stuff, but if you look at some of the stuff they have done, it has been so cool. Look up Legend of the Five Rings, right? Just look up the stuff they did for that game. It is so sick. You got like exclusive stuff if you were the highest ranking person playing like a particular class. You could decide like the way the lore went, and I'm not saying the lore stuff will happen here, but like they know how to make really cool stuff, and it seems like they're trying to do that here, so I hope they do. As for the tournament itself, similar to the Planetary qualifiers, the sector qualifiers will have prizes for participation and placement. The amount of tournament points will be enough for each of the top players to qualify for the Galactic Championship, with the exact number of those players differing based on the size of the event. So what does this mean? I would think the store level, they're probably expecting 64 to 128 players. That's if a store showdown is 32, then the store regional is probably 64 to 128. So that means one person's going to qualify. Now these are bigger, these are 2-day, so I would think if you pull like a 256 to a 512 player event here, the top 4 to top 16 will instantly qualify. That's kind of what I'm thinking based on where they've set my expectations. So it might be way less than that, but that's just a guess. Then finally the regional qualifier. Very few of the events will happen each season, but the potential rewards for attending one are massive. Similar to sector qualifiers, they are 2-day events hosted alongside several side events, but at a much larger scale and much greater prizing. You can earn yourself more tournament points for higher placement than at any other qualifier event. Why would you want extra points? We'll come on to that. The tournament structure of a regional qualifier may also have 1 or 2 twists that are different from how sector qualifiers are run. How interesting. We have no more information on this. I don't know what this could possibly mean, but it's mysterious. Okay, let's talk about the Galactic Championship, and this is really sick. Okay. This event serves as the culmination of a season's worth of organized events. This is basically Worlds, and it's also the last event of that season. So, I mean, you can probably predict this will happen at the end of set 4, right? Like just before set 5 comes out, because set 1 looks like, games coming out, getting everything together. Set 2, organized play starts. Set 3, set 4, that'll be a year, right? I think that'll be, or it might be at the end of set 5. I think it was every 3 or 4 months. I can't remember how long, but basically after a year. The Galactic Championship is the only event that is invitation exclusive. Obviously, right? Each player who earned enough tournament points to qualify throughout that season is welcome and encouraged to compete. So immediately it seems like they're not going to be awarding like travel vouchers and prizing and stuff. They want you to come on your own. Probably smart. Lets you invite a lot more people. But it does suck. If you do really well, then you have to pay out of pocket. Oh well. The Galactic Championship is a 3-day event. Only the players who do well each day advance to the next one. So firstly, that's brutal, right? After day 1, you're losing people. After day 2, you're losing people. 3-day is wild. I don't know many games that do 3-day events. But if you earned enough tournament points in the preceding season to be one of the top scoring players on the leaderboard, you bypass the first day entirely and automatically advance to day 2. So here's your incentive to rack up a shitload of points. You just skip through to day 2. That's kind of massive. That's a really big benefit. So there's sort of like 2 tiers of qualification, but obviously we can only speculate this time. So we'll wait for more information to come out, and they'll be close to the actual event. So probably not going to hear anything about this for like 6 to 9 months, but that's the way it's going to work, right? The biggest and best prizes of the season will be at the Galactic Championship. As with the other event types, there will be prizes for participation and placement. For tournament points, anyone who makes it to Day 2 and beyond will earn themselves tournament points for the next season of competitive organised play. If you do well enough in the Galactic Championship, you already are getting progress towards making the Galactic Championship next year. Now here's the crazy thing, okay? Just like with sector and regional qualifiers, there'll be ample amounts of side events, prize wall, blah blah blah. These side events will be open to all attendees, so you can show up to Worlds anyway, even if you didn't qualify, and you can still play. One of these side events will be the first qualifier event for the next season of organised play, so if you don't compete in the Galactic Championship or you don't make it to Day 2, you can still earn points for the next circuit. I think that's really, really cool and a very smart thing to do for all the players who are going out there. So this is an amazing decision. I mean, I've got to say, really hats off, for thinking this, structure through. And I can't remember where they said it. I thought it was in this article. But the thing to me that really stands out about this organised play structure is you are so intensely rewarded for engaging with the game, playing the game, and doing well. You can get to Worlds just by being a consistent performer. If you make Day 2 at Worlds, you are already getting points towards your next season. I'm willing to bet it is possible at the finals, Galactic Championship finals, to get enough points to automatically qualify for the next season of the Galactic Championship. And that is so good. Being able to just consistently make sure you're going to those big tier events is amazing, because it means you don't have to stress, you don't have to sweat it out. It's just so good. It's just so good. I'm really, really happy with the tournament structure. I'm really, really excited for it. And I have nothing but good things to say, basically, about FFG in terms of how they have set this up. But of course, it's not all positive with FFG. It's really important to acknowledge that they have not run games well in the past. And this is the big thing, I think, that is preventing me from being completely enamored straight away. I'm really excited for the game. I'm getting a case. There will be a product opening for it, don't worry. There's a lot of stuff to really look forward to. But FFG have a track record of not properly supporting their games, of pulling the plug on them, of not properly supporting stores, and it is something that makes me very cautious. Now, that being said, I think, as on the one hand, while I say that, on the other hand, I also have to acknowledge that this is the most comprehensive, I think, roadmap they've ever set out this far ahead of it actually beginning. This stuff has been here for months, right? They've set all this out back in October. So for a long time they've had this plan ready to go. Everything I see from them about supporting local level play, supporting your local game store, makes it clear they want to develop a community for this game and have it grow organically. I'm not seeing tacky cash prizing promotion at Battle Spirit Saga. I'm seeing what looks like real thought that has gone into making the sealed product actually feel good to open. You actually want the draft. You actually want to, because obviously, let's be real here, right? Ideally, you would, just buy your singles and be done with it. But the fact that they have put this much effort into making draft a viable format is really important in actually making sure that they continue to get sales. So they've thought this through from a business side. They've thought this through from a consumer side. They are not doing stupid things like having mechanically unique promos. Everything is an alternate art. Good job! I didn't realise that would be something that would be hard for companies to realise, but finally, FFG of all people have figured it out. Let's now go and look at some of those alternate arts with that, acknowledgement that FFG do not have the best track record in mind. And then we're going to play a little bit of gameplay and we will end the video there. So let's go ahead and look at some of those alt arts. Okay, so I'm here on the alt art. So what they do is they do these streams occasionally where they announce a bunch of information. So here we go. Here is the Darth Vader that you are going to be getting as part of the pre-release pack. So you're just going to get one of these just for entering. It is warped as hell. But shout outs to them for actually showing that. At least they're not trying to hide it. But yeah, the pringling is not good, but these cards look really nice. I don't know how good the foiling will look in person. I doubt it's ever going to look as good as Bandai foiling, but for Western card game standards, it's pretty nice. So that is that there. Now that's not the only thing, because they open all those packs on the screen, but there's also judge promos, and I think this is so important. They're actually giving judges a reason to want to judge for the game. And look at it. Can you notice the foiling is different? The foiling is noticeably different on the judge version of the cards, and I think that is so good. That is so nice, making them even like more valuable, so the judges can make bank or get really cool exclusive versions of cards. So of course, if you judge like basically the pre-release, it looks like you're going to be able to pick up the Luke and the Vader. So that was the Vader, and then the Luke is here. And obviously that also looks absolutely amazing. So that is the pre-release. Then for the store showdowns, they also showed us this first season of store showdown promos. So the first promo you're going to be getting here is Takedown. This is a really good card, by the way. So this is an alternate art Takedown with this sort of blue border. I think the border looks a lot better on some cards than others. I think it looks really good on Takedown. I think it looks quite bad on other things. So it is what it is. It's also a non-foil card. And then we get the trophy cards. And this is the really cool thing. So here is what you will be getting for top 8, top 4, finalist, and winner at the store showdown. It's an alternate art Mace Windu. It looks so good. This card is amazing, really, really strong. And you can see here all the different versions. So you can see it has a top 8 stamp, a top 4 stamp, a finalist stamp, and a champion stamp. I'm willing to bet the foiling also differs on each version. And the cool thing is it's additive. So if you get top 8, you get a top 8 one. If you get top 4, you also get top 8. Finalist, you also get top 4 and top 8. And of course, winner, you get all 4 versions, which I think is super cool. And then it looks like, okay, don't know what the context was for that, but there we go. So those are some of the cards. Let's now do a quick little bit of gameplay so you can get a feel for the game. So here we go. I'm using a program called Force Table, and I'm just using the 2 starter decks. So I'm playing Vader here, and the AI is playing Luke. So here you can see it gives you an option if you want to take a mulligan. Looking at this hand, I don't. You know what? I'm just going to keep it. Who cares? I'm going to throw in these into my resources. So I start the game with those resources. And then it goes here. I have no turn 1 play, so I'm just going to take the initiative. So you can see here, there we go. And they have nothing to do as well, so they pass. So now I can choose to add a card. I want to hold on to all of these. So I'm going to put the, I think I'll put the open fire in there. Then you can see I have the initiative here, so I can play a card. You can't quite see that, but if I just move this over here, so you can see it tells me what my available actions are. So let's do this, so you can see that a little better. So here I'm going to play a card as one of my actions, and I'm going to play the Super Laser Technician. You can see it comes in exhausted because there is basically the summoning sickness in the game. And my opponent has slapped on a load of these +1/+1 counters. So I'm not looking forward to getting whacked in the face by that. But I can now go ahead and take the initiative. And my opponent's going to whack into me for 4 and then pass turn. So here we go now. I can take my turn. I guess I'll hold on to this Vader's lightsaber. Going to be going up to potentially 5. I think I really do need to deal with this card as soon as possible. So I probably want to hold on to this. I think I will stick the cell block guard in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play out the Death Star Stormtrooper. So that's going to let me use my leader ability. So now I can go ahead and use my leader ability to deal 1 damage to a unit and to a base. So I'm going to go ahead and deal 1 damage to this and 1 damage to the Administrator's Tower. He's done something to give shield to this. So I'm going to attack. I really do need him to play something. Otherwise I'm not going to be able to deal with this card, which is quite sad. Okay, well, great. I guess no, I don't want to do that. Shit then. Alright, take initiative. I have misplayed that one considerably, but oh well. I'm only like massively losing, it's fine. Okay, this is a really, really good card, but I think all of these are vehicles, so I can't really use that, but I kind of want to hold on to it. Yeah, I guess we'll... I can't really use this yet. I mean, I want to use this card. I need to use this card this turn, so I'm going to stick the force choke in. Okay, so I have the initiative, and I'm going to go ahead and actually deal with this card. Get rid of it. Get it out, otherwise that is going to kill me. Okay, great. So he's played Leia, so you can ready a resource or exhaust a unit. So Leia's exhausted this 3-1, which is great, which means I can now trade my Super Laser Technician into the Leia. Boom, boom. Let me slap that in as a resource. I've now ramped up to 6. He's played out R2-D2. I am going to ramp. And this is where things are going to get very scary for my opponent, because I can now deploy my Vader and he comes out onto the board, which is so cool that you just get to use your actual leaders. And now the disruption is going to be quite significant. So this R2-D2 has a shield on it and 4 HP. That shield is going to be quite annoying, but I'm going to deal with this first. So I'm going to attack into the R2-D2. And then I'm going to trigger the ability to deal 2 damage to the R2-D2, which is going to remove the shield and then let me kill it. So he's going to attack. I'm going to take the initiative. And I think things are going to be looking A-okay now. Oh, these are all very, very, very good cards. I'm going to put the recruit away. I think I don't really need it. So I've got 8, so I could play out this thing. But actually what I think I'm going to do is play out this... no, I'm going to attack. Yeah, I'm going to attack the base and deal 2 damage to this, getting rid of the shield. So I'm going to start getting him down. He knows that this is going to disappear, but that's fine. I'm going to play a card. I'm going to play out this Imperial Interceptor, and that's going to let me deal 3 damage to this. I'll happily take the 2 extra damage, that's fine. He's playing out this. Oh, it's got ambush, so it's going to deal 3 damage there. I'm going to attack this into this. I kind of want him to play a ground unit, so until he does that, I'm in a sort of sticky situation because I really want to use this. So I'm just gonna pass for a moment, see if he has anything to play. Yeah, okay, he's deploying his Luke, so he can finally do that. So now I can get some really solid value here. I'm going to attach this to Vader, which is going to let me deal 4 damage to Luke immediately. He is going to deal a bunch of damage to my base, but I will take the initiative here, and that will let me deal with it after. So this is all very good. I'm going to resource this. Okay, so I'm only on 5, so things are definitely a little dicey, but it's not too bad. So here, this is Form 1. This is going to deal 2 damage to something, so I think I just need to trade this into here to just deal with that. Otherwise, I'm in a really sticky situation. I'm going to take the 3 damage here, but it's okay. I'm not going to lose. I am going to play out my Gladiator Star Destroyer, and I'm going to give it Self. Oh, it's going to hard remove it, but that's... that's quite terrible, actually. I think I lose. LOL. Not me losing to an AI. But there we go. That is how it goes sometimes. I can deal 2 damage, but the problem is this has a shield on it. So I can try, it's just going to get rid of the shield, so I'll just remove that. I deal 8 damage, and then I lose. So outside of me being terrible, that is some basic gameplay. So that's how the game plays, and I think it's really, really fun. I have no idea if that was tolerable to watch or if that was completely intolerable. I hope you kind of understand, like, there's a huge amount of counterplay that can like go on there. And that was basically like my, I don't know, 4th game. So, anyway. So that is how the game works. That is how the game is played. If you guys like it, you should go to your local store for a pre-release. I will be going next week. I'm going to be going to pre-release, so I'll be uploading the video with my polls and like how everything went. So you should subscribe if you are interested in Star Wars Unlimited content. I hope you guys found this video useful. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a really long one, but I hope it's been beneficial to you. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Star Wars Unlimited content, obviously subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'm really excited for this game, and I hope you are too. See you then. Cheers.